Greetings and welcome to the Halloween edition of the Sliders Review. And I'm here today to talk to you about Five Nights at Freddy. So, I am very late to the game on this. I've never heard of it in the past. This movie came out in 2023. And I remember when this movie was about to come out, a lot of people was hyped. And I had no idea what the heck this was. All I knew, it was coming out on Peacock. It starred Matthew Lillard, or so I thought it did. And like it's supposed to be some type of horror slashery type thing. And so like then it came out and a lot of people was pissed off. So I'm all like, well, I guess it's not that good, so I'm just not gonna pay attention to it. It's based on a video game. And you know, most video game movies don't do well. And so I just decided to skip it and just never pay attention to it. And so even when I had Peacock, I still just never watched it. But back in like earlier this year, in what, May, I still had Stars, and the movie was free to watch there. It was brand new. And so I'm just kind of like, okay, they uploaded the movie. I don't want Stars no more. I guess I can probably give it a try and see what it's about, because I knew nothing about it. I never saw no reviews, nothing like that. I just saw a giant teddy bear and it looked kind of demonic looking, and that's all I knew, right? And so I decided to check the trailer out. And I'm like, oh, this is kind of cool. So I stopped watching the trailer because I didn't want to spoil myself. And then I decided to go and watch the movie. And when I first started watching the movie, I'm all like, I see the security guard. He's trying to escape. I'm like, oh, what's going on here? Then you see like some kind of weird like Saw-like trap. And I'm all like, oh, cool. So this is kind of like Saw. And so as the blades are going closer to the dude's face, it pans to like off screen. And I'm just kind of like, oh, they're not going to show this kill? I'm like, oh God, this movie's probably going to suck. Because if you have a horror movie and then all of a sudden it pans away from the actual murder, because they don't want to show it and they don't want to show the blood and the gore, then most likely it's gonna suck. And well, in my opinion, this movie does suck and everything. It's just not that good. It's very confusing. They don't explain a whole lot. And it differs from the video game, from what I read, in a huge way. And that right there is a shame. So after reading the synopsis for the video game, which was like a what was those things called, like a point and click type video game, made by Scott Kata and Cotton Cotton. I hate people's names. So anyway, it just seems like a dude who works at security at kind of like this Chuck E. Cheese type thing, you know, to stand in for like the Freddy place, pizzeria, whatever you call it. And he's a security guard there, and it's open, and every night he's being chased by the animatronics, or they're out killing people, and you're supposed to use like the cameras to figure out where they are and stuff like that. And you know, there's like this guy who's responsible for reprogramming them. So it's basically, from what I can tell, just a slasher movie. A video game, a slasher video game with animatronics. I'm kind of like, hey, that's kind of cool. I can rock and roll to that. But I found that out I found that out halfway into the movie, because as I'm watching the movie, I'm all like, okay, they skipped the gore. There's a scene with this guy and a girl who appears to be his daughter. He's down and out of his luck. He gets a security job. You know, his aunt wants the girl. Turns out the girl's not his daughter, but his sister. And then for whatever reason, he just beats this one dude up. And it's just like, why? And so, like, as the movie is going on, he gets his first dream sequence, and we see his brother get taken away. At first, I was a little confused because I'm all like, okay, at first I thought it was his daughter, and where's the mom at? And so we see this dream sequence. I'm like, oh, okay, that must be the mom. But no, it's his mom, and his little brother gets taken. So I'm all like, okay. And then, like, the movie goes on, and then he has another dream. But then all of a sudden, he can talk to these imaginary kids in his dream. I'm like, what the heck? And he's chasing them, and every time he tries to grab one, like either he'll wake up or something will happen. So I'm all like, I bet this is different from the game. So then halfway into the movie, I decided to look it up online. Like, yep, this is different from the game. This movie is so confusing. Critics did not like this movie, but the general audience did. It had like a budget of $20 million and made 297. And it's a Blumhouse movie and stuff. And so, like, it makes me wonder, did, like, the general audience, did they just like the original story to it? Did they not care it, like, different from the source material? Or was it because the hardcore fans of it wanted to see how it was going to be, saw it, and it's all like, crap. Now, because of it, it made a whole bunch of money, and of course, they made a sequel. Now, the sequel, once again, is going to be different from that of the video game. This whole Five Nights at Freddy has a huge video game franchise. And, I mean, there's so many games and everything. And not only that, but there is, like, of course, a second game, and the second game revolves around different characters. But the sequel to the movie is going to revolve around the same characters. You see people complain about the Resident Evil movies and the hardcore fans and this and that. So it makes me wonder what the hardcore fans of this franchise think of, like, the movie franchise and stuff. And then, so as I'm reading about the second movie coming out and all the characters, I'm like, well, hold up. All these characters are in the first movie, so nobody dies. What kind of horror movie is this? So there are people that die, but they're side characters that are not developed and are barely in the movie, and you don't care about them. And so it's kind of like if your main cast isn't gonna die, if your villain's not gonna die, then what the heck is the point of this stupid movie? And so the changes they have made to the movie and everything, or to the video game, the changes they made in the movie still don't make no sense because they don't explain a whole heck of a lot. So basically, like I said before, it's this girl. She's the sister of this guy. He's trying to take care of her. Apparently, his brother got taken by some man when he was little. And every night when he has a dream, he gets more and more information from what happened that day when his brother got taken. Okay. And so it's stronger when he's at the Five Nights at Freddy thing. Now, in the video game, it's set in the 80s, and this place is still, no, out of 80s or 90s. I think it's the 90s. And this place is still open. And the movie is closed down, and it's like the year 2000. Why would you need security for like a rundown building that nobody never goes to no more? I get it if, like, you're gonna like, like build into something else, but they're not doing nothing with this. Also, I was very shocked and surprised Matthew Lillard is barely in this movie. He's only in the beginning for like a few minutes. And then, like, he's in the end because his character is the villain, which you kind of guess. Now, they changed his name to Steve Raglan. That's because they couldn't call him at first William Afton, because if they did, then people would know he's the main villain and everything. And so, like, it will give away a huge plot because he's the main bad guy. And so Mike is the main protagonist, and Mike and William are supposed to be related, father and son. In the video game, they changed it and made them just two regular guys. Vanessa is a cop, and she is the daughter in the movie of William, but in the video game, she is not. Also, Elizabeth Lau, who plays Vanessa. Man, I remember her back in 2014 when she had her first acting gig. And she was on Once Upon a Time, and she was playing one of the Frozen characters. She did a phenomenal job for her first time. And when I kept looking at her in this movie, I'm all like, she looks familiar, but I don't know why. And she looks a little bit like Jennifer Lawrence. And so basically, this dude's about to get evicted. What I say his name was Mike's about to get like evicted from his place. His aunt is trying to take his sister from him. There's some freaky dreams he's having and everything, and the animatronics are killing people and stuff. And so he's telling her everything about like his dreams, and she's all like, oh, you're not crazy, because she believes him for some bizarre reason. That's pretty convenient if you ask me. And so like her behavior towards him is a little erratic when he brings his sister to his workplace, and she's all like, if you ever bring your sister here again, I will shoot you. I'm all like, that's a little extreme. Now, by this time, I already knew she was what's his name's daughter. So, but it's just nothing's coming together very well. And every time this dude has a dream, it keeps getting altered, and the kids are now able to talk to him in his dream. So I'm all like, what the heck is up with this freaky supernatural thing? And why did the beginning of the movie look like Saw? And so I'm like, nothing is clicking for me. So it turns out that William has been kidnapping kids, killing them, and their souls are now going into animatronics and stuff like that. Interesting, but stupid in my opinion. And why couldn't he just be a mad scientist type dude and reprogram like, the animatronics and just have them kill people? That would have been just somewhat cooler to show that he's just demented. But this dude has like this thing about immortality and blah, blah, blah. So anyways, it is said by his daughter that he's able to control the kids, once he kills them and stuff like that. But how? It's never explained how exactly he's able to control the minds of these like ghost children. It's also never explained how the ghost children just somehow just ended up in the animatronics. Why couldn't they end up in the computer or something? And so they're fascinated with like, Abby, the little sister girl. Now there's a weird scene. So one of the animatronics decided to walk many miles away to Abby's house, somehow knowing where she lives at. And talking about, oh, come with me and everything. And she's all like, well, how are we going to get back to the pizzeria? The animatronic called a taxi cab. Like, what the world? And so the taxi cab driver's freaked out that there's a little girl and a big teddy bear looking animatronic in his car. Them ghost kids, boy, I swear. So anyways, after everything is revealed, said and done, here comes Matthew Lillard's character again, explaining everything. And it's just so convenient that he just so happened to kidnap Mike's brother back in the day, and Mike's brother's soul is in one of the animatronics. But Mike never goes looking for his brother's animatronic. So what was the point? And so not only that, but like he tells his sister, these kids need to know the truth about William and everything. So as he's running around getting stabbed and everything, and William just stabs his daughter because she shot him and everything. I swear to God, this movie's stupid. Anyway, Abby is drawing as fast as she can. I mean, as fast as she can, to show that the yellow rabbit, which is William, is actually the one who killed them and everything. Because apparently these ghost kids forgot or been brainwashed by William and stuff. So just like that, they turn on William. First of all, she drew that very quickly. 3 or 2, I don't know what number I am on. But anyway, but why would they believe her? And next, that's all it takes for them to turn on him and everything. They're like, oh, we see a drawing of you killing us, so that must have been who killed us and everything. So we're gonna turn on you. And apparently, the mind control that you have on us that's never explained just wore off and everything. And so they kill him and they stuff him in a suit. Because I think in the video game, they put suits on dead people and the bodies decay or something like that. And so Vanessa survived, and she's going to be in the sequel. And Abby and Mike survived, and they're going to be in the sequel. And apparently William is going to survive, and he's going to be in the sequel. This movie don't make no sense whatsoever. It would have been nice if they would have explained some things, but they didn't do that. And the thing is, I would have been cool if it was just animatronics going around trying to kill people at night, because they were reprogrammed. But this whole supernatural element is beyond stupid and makes absolutely no sense whatsoever, and no part of it is ever explained. They need to explain certain things. How did the ghost children go inside the animatronics? How is William able to control them? Why did they turn on him just because of a stupid drawing and everything? And I just don't get it. And it's just, why do people like this movie? I don't get it. Why did the general audience love this movie so much and said that it made the lore a whole lot better? No, it didn't. I mean, just have a crazy scientist type dude make a bunch of animatronics kill people, and that would have been fine. Like, just say he's sick in the head or twisted or whatever. And to have Matthew Lillard barely be in the movie is a shame, because he's finally playing a slashery type villain after nearly 30 years and stuff from the Scream movie. And, you know, the dude hasn't missed a beat. And so it was just kind of like, you know, it's just, I don't know, man. It's just, I wish I never watched this now, because I'm not watching the second movie. I don't care what happens in that movie. But, you know, I should have known this was going to be a bad movie, because newer movies that show up, pretty much almost any movie that shows up on Stars, typically is a movie that does not do very well, either in the box office or critical, or on DVD sales. Normally, any movie you see on Stars is typically a lame movie and everything. And you know what I don't get is, like, it's getting that sequel in December of this year because, you know, ticket price sales and stuff like that. And not only that, but, like, you know, the audience reviews were pretty good and scores and stuff. And so it's getting that sequel. But what I don't understand is, like, this movie, in my opinion, is just horrible on so many levels. The acting is good, but the story is just so wacky and everything. And it makes sense for what they wrote, but it just doesn't make no sense. Like, you know, okay, it's like, it makes sense in the fact that, okay, dead kids' souls went into these, like, robots. Okay, fine. But it doesn't make sense as to how and why. And, like, the other stuff I said, you know, stuff with William don't make no sense. The stuff with Vanessa don't make no sense. There's a lot of unexplained stuff in this movie, and it's just kind of like, a movie like this gets like a sequel, but the movie Imaginary, which was not very good, but Imaginary was at least a heck of a lot better than this, and a heck of a lot more creative and stuff. And it's just kind of odd how you have one movie, in my opinion, that is just like terrible and everything on nearly every level there is, but then there's another movie that is just as bad, but at least they explain things more in imaginary, and at least there was actually like some thought put into that. You know what I'm saying? It just didn't like if imaginary were to be reworked a little bit here and there, polished up here and there. I think it would have gotten like, a sequel and everything. But it's just weird how one gets a sequel, one doesn't, one is praised, one is not. And it's just odd, you know what I'm saying? Also, I'm not even sure, but did they ever mention like what happened to Mike and Abby's parents and why they can't take care of her and why the aunt wants her so badly? Like the aunt wants her so bad, she hired these rednecks to like rough up Mike's job and like just destroy it so he can lose his job and lose custody of her. But what happened to like his parents and stuff? And not only that, but like there's a huge age gap between that of Mike and Abby. I'm not sure exactly how old he's supposed to be, but he's supposed to be somewhere in his mid to late 20s or early 30s, and she's literally like a 10-year-old girl. And I'm just kind of like, it's just so weird because he even says, like, you used to have a brother named, like, whatever his name was. But, like, she wasn't born then because his younger brother and, like, or their brother and stuff, he got kidnapped, when he was, like, really young. And so I just wish they would explain more in this movie. But because of ticket prices and stuff, like it's getting a sequel and stuff now. And the sequel comes out in December. Now wasn't that spooky? Alright, well I shall talk to y'all later. Bye.